Greeting to our lecturer, Dr. Jack Rusdi, beloved friends and all audience. We are from CLN group with 3 members. Today we are going to talk about the Ventolink Protocol Secure Operating Zone under course BITS1213 operating system. As briefly in this project, we do some configuration of services within isolated internet network, and this is our task distribution. And we use Oracle VirtualBox as our visualization software. In the operating system type, we use two, where is the server virtual machine and client virtual machine.
Now we will look at the network setup in this project. So for the service configuration, it requires 2 adapters for the service network. So for the adapter 1 will be attached to NAT for the internet access. However, for adapter 2 will be attached to the internal network, which is named Internet. Now this is the overall setup for the server's virtual machine. So for the client's configuration, the client's network only requires 1 adapter which is attached to the internal network and that is named as Internet, so that client and server have the same internal network name and both can communicate with each other. Now this is the overall setup for the client's virtual machine. So now we will look at the network testing. First, we will look at the server network testing. The first test is to test the internet access testing. So this is the command we use to test whether a server can access to the internet. So from the result here, we can see that server able to access to the internet. Next is to check the IP address for the server. This is the command that we use to check the server's IP address, and we know that server have an IP address of 192.168.1.254. Next, we will look at the client network testing. First, we will check for the IP address for the client, and this is the command that we use to check it. Now from the result here, we know that client have an IP address of 192.168.1.6. And next, we will check about the network communication testing for client and server. So on our client side, we will ping this command to server, and we will check whether both of them can communicate with each other. So from the result here, we can see that client able to communicate with server. Lastly is to check whether client have the internet access. So this is the command that we use to check it, and from the result here, it shows 100% packet loss, which means that client is in an isolated network environment that do not have any internet access.
Next, I want to talk about the DHCP service. This service is only serve the ETH2 interface, and IP range is between 192.168.1.5 until 192.168.1.10. And our default gateway, we set it as 192.168.1.254. This is our configuration, where first step, we need to update the server first, so that we can get the latest software version in the server side. And next, we install the package. After the installation, we can know that the status is shown active failed because the configuration is haven't done yet. So our next step is to enter the interface of the DHCP server. So we type this command so that we can enter the text, and we assign that if IPv4 is ENP0S8. Actually, in the modern Debian, the adapter 2 has the default name as ENP0S8. So actually, the ENP0S8 is same with the ETH2. So the next step, we need to configure the DHCP, where we want to assign the range of the DHCP and also the option router. The fourth step is to restart the DHCP server so that the configuration and all the changes can be loaded into the memory. And next, we can check again the status by using this code. Our configuration in the DHCP server is done. Next is our testing. First, we test at the server side. We want to know that either the connection is to ETH2. We use this command to grab the IPv4, and the output show here is actually the verified that we have connect IPv4 to ENP0S8. Next is our configuration. We need to verify first our configuration is successfully done or not. So we use the tell command to get the configuration from the DHCP, and the output show here actually is same exactly as the requirement. Next, we test on the client side. We want to know the IP range either is within the requirement IP range or not. So we use this command, and the output show here is INET 192.168.1.5, where is actually within the range of our requirement. And this is the testing to know either the client IP address is in the isolation internet network or not. So first, we want to use the command ping to know that it connects to outbound address or not. And here it shows 100% packet loss, where it's indicated that it has no network to outbound address. But when we ping the address to our default gateway, where it is received 100% and 0% of packet loss, this indicated that it had the connection to the default gateway. Apart from that, I also want to introduce the SFTP service, where it is the encrypted file transfer via SSH, which it is a secure shell, and the internal access only is to the 192.168.1.254 at port 22, and we will create a user account researcher, where it will restrict the user account for security. This is our server configuration. First, as usual, we need to update it first, and then we install the package. And the second step, we need to enter to the nano text of the SSH configuration. We enter this command into the nano text. Listen address to 192.168.1.2.4 is to ensure the SFTP is only accessible from the internet network. The step 3 and the last step is to create a researcher, where we add the user researcher and we set the password for it. When this user account is created, it actually have the limited privileges on the server only. This the SFTP testing. We need to test on the server side first. First of all, we need to restart the secure shell to apply all the changes. And this part is to verify either the listening is isolation or not. So we use the grep command to the port 22 so that it's actually served at the SFTP port 22. And next is the verification on usage of Open SSH server, either it's powered by SSH or not. And the output here is shown that it's actually powered by the SSH, neither of the VSFTP. And next is the testing on existence of user researcher. When the researcher is created, it actually has the ID, the unique ID. So we just need to use the command ID researcher. So when it shows the ID for the researcher, it's actually indicated that the researcher created successfully. We also need to test on the file set where we enter this command into that, and the output shell is connected to the researcher, so it will change to SFTP. Next is the test file transfer, where this is the command that I use in the file transfer testing. And the most important part is in the put test TXT and also the get TXT. Here it shows that the get percent is indicated that the file transfer is successfully transferred. And when we exit it will tear down the tunnel.
For web service, a BITS12 web server is used to host an internet portal on this IP address and using HTTP on port 80. This is the simple relationship diagram for a BITS12 between web browser with its client and web server. First, for configuration, we use this command to update and get the latest server information, and the latest BITS12 was successfully installed using this command. These servers enable HTTP service that allow communication between server and client. Without this software, web page will remain as static data on server and user cannot access it over the network through HTTP. Step 2 is we use this command to configure providing using Nano Editor, and we change from this to this. After reading to this default gateway address, the BITS12 will only receive the request that coming to this default gateway address at port 80. Step 3 is we use this command to configure virtual host using Nano Editor and change from this to this latest virtual host configuration. The BITS12 will compare the IP address and port of the incoming request with the latest virtual host configuration. If they are matched, the BITS12 will serve the website and respond to the client. Step 4 is we use this command to create web page using Nano Editor and replace the default page with the required content. Step 5 is to restart the BITS12 using this command to apply all changes that we had done just before. For verification, we use this command to confirm that BITS12 is listening to IP address and port correctly. Now, we move to the testing session. Test 1 is to check BITS12 service status on server using this command, and it shows active running successfully. Test 2 is to check providing configuration on server using same command as step 5, and it successfully showed that BITS12 was listening to correct IP address and port. Test 3 is to check virtual host configuration on server using grep command, and this is the correct output for the test 3. Test 4 is client connectivity test on client using curl command, but the output shows the curl command not found, means the curl package file was not installed on client. Then we try to install the curl package file on client using these two commands but fail, because there are no internet connection on client. So to solve this problem, we need to return to server and use these two commands to download the curl package file only but not install on server. Then the downloader file will keep a home directory of server. Then go to the client. We use this command to log in into server using researcher account. Then these two commands is to confirm the presence of curl package file and home directory of server. Then the third command is to transfer a copy of curl package file to the client via SFTP. Then we need to exit the SFTP session and return the control to the client terminal. And the last command is to unpack the curl package file and install offline on client. Finally, the client can get the web page content through the curl command, and overall, it shows the web server is active and accessible for client within isolated network.
So now we will look at the database service. The database software that we use is MariaDB and MySQL, and we will bind only to the default gateway IP address. And this is the 3 steps that we will configure inside the database software. Next, we will look at the configuration part. The first step is to install the MariaDB server on the server side, and this is the two command that is used. Second is for the secure installation. This is to make changes on the insecure default setting and strengthen the database server security. And this is the command is used. After this command is executed, there are several settings that we need to change, which is set root password, remove anonymous, and allow remote root login. And this message shown that the MariaDB is done configured. Next, we will look at step 3, which is configure bind address. The bind address for MariaDB is changed to the default gateway IP address. Is to let the database listen only to the server's internal network. And this is the command that we use. And from the nano text here, we can see that the bind address is already changed to the default gateway IP address. Next, for step 4 is to restart the database. This is the command that we use to restart the database to apply the new configuration changes. For step 5 is to create the database, table, and user. Before creating the database, first, we need to log in into the MariaDB monitor as administrator first. So this is the command that we use to enter the MariaDB. After entering MariaDB, we will create a database named Phantom Link, and this is the query that we use to create it. So after creating, we will switch the database from non to Phantom Link using this query. Next is to create a table named sensitive data with 3 columns, which is ID, file name, and upload date inside the Phantom Link database using this query. So after creating the sensitive data table, we will try to enter 2 sample data, which is blueprint and prototype scheme, into it. So this is the query that we use. So now we will create an internal database user named this to ensure that only client within the internal network range can connect to this database. And this is the query that we use. So after creating the internal user, we will grant the privilege for the Phantom Link database to the internal user. And we will apply the changes to the MariaDB before exiting. And this is all the query that we use. So after exiting, we will change back to the server terminal, and we will use this command to ensure that the listening IP and ports from MariaDB is bound to the internal gateway IP and the port 3306. So now we will done the configuration for the server. Next, for step 7 is to install my SQL client on the client side. This is the 2 command that is executed, but there is an error message is shown that client could not able to download it due to the network environment. That client do not have access to the external internet. So to solve this issue, we will go back to the server side to download the MariaDB client installation package. After downloading, we will go back to the client side, and client will use the SFTP service. By using the researcher account, we will get the installation package using this service. And this is all the command that is used to get the installation package. So after getting the installation package, this command is executed to unpack and install on the client side using offline environment. So this command is executed to check whether client is able to enter MariaDB or not, and the picture here shown that client successfully entered MariaDB. Next, we will look at the testing part. So for the test one is to test MariaDB installation on the server side. This command is executed, and we can see from the result message if there is an active running message shown that the MariaDB is running on the server side. For the test 2 is to test the bind address on the server also. So there are 2 ways. The first way is to use this command to enter the nano text and find the bind address is bind to the default gateway IP address. For the second way is to use this command to check whether the MariaDB is listening to the default gateway IP address and the correct port. So for the test 3 is to test the Phantom Link database existence. So on the server side, we will use these 2 commands to check whether the database exists. And for the client side, we will use these 2 commands to check whether it exists, and both show it exists in the list of the database. For test 4 is to test the sensitive data table existence. So for the client and the server side, we use the same command to check, and both show existence of the sensitive data table. Next, for test 5 is to test the internal user existence. So on server, we will use this query to check whether the internal user exists. And the list of the user here shows that the internal user is one of the users, so that the internal user is already created. So for the test 6 is to test the client internal user connection. We will use this command to check whether client can enter the MariaDB or not. So from the result message here shown that client successfully enter the MariaDB using this command.
In conclusion, from this project, all configuration and testing for our service have done successfully.
and the file transfer in web server and database server is done successfully in isolated internal network.
Other than that, we think that in this project, communication and collaboration is very important.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.